Here's a question from the higher textbook a couple of you had mentioned, just having a bit of issues with. You'd started the question by identifying cos 2x as something you need to substitute out, and you'd correctly identified the proper identity to sub in, multiplied it all out, and got this trinomial at the end. The problem is that can't factorise. I tried factorising it myself and couldn't come up with an answer. It doesn't mean that it's impossible to solve though. I actually went and plotted the graph, and as you can see there are 4 possible solutions for where our function equals 0. So, after a little bit of head scratching, I decided to treat this just like any normal trinomial, and I decided to use the quadratic formula. Of course, you're not given this at higher level, but it is still useful to know it. So I basically imagined this as x squared, that's x, and identified a as being 10, b as being minus 1, and c as being minus 7. And then I just substituted them in to the relevant places in the formula. Working through it, being very careful with, for example, the negative of -1 there. Working through it gave me 2 individual solutions. It's worth noting that the discriminant, which you can find under the square root symbol, isn't a square number, which means our original trinomial can't be factorised. So I've ended up with 2 solutions, and it's worth remembering that when you use the quadratic formula, normally you'd be finding what x is, but because our trinomial had cos x as its variable, what's coming out here is cos of x equals 0.88 and negative 0.788. So all that's left to do is to treat this like 2 small problems. First of all, well, I'm going to ignore that there. First of all, I would try and solve cos x equals 0.88. So I've taken the inverse cos of it. I've remembered that cos is positive. Looking back here, cos is positive 0.88. So I've identified the first and the fourth quadrants. So I've got my first solution and my second solution by taking it away from 360. I'm now going to use this. Of course, I've dropped the negative here, taken the inverse cos of it to get 37.97, and then remembered that what I've got is negative 0.788. So cos is negative, so I'm not interested in the first quadrant, not interested in the fourth quadrant. So I've got solutions in the second and third. So hopefully you should all know second quadrant is 180. Take away my little building block here, and third quadrant's 180 plus, giving me that solution. Of course, the only thing that's left to do now all that's left to do is list all of your solutions at the end, and as you can see, we've got our 4 solutions which tie in nicely with the 4 that came up on the graph. Right, hopefully that's been some use to you.